Oh my gosh. Well, I guess I'm here. Technology issues. Hi, greetings. I'm Ophelia. I'm the Mystic Muse, and I would like to today. I want to share why I joined the digital group growth community and why it is really important to me at this point because it is fulfilling a lot of my past into a new era of me, and it's about empowerment. And Michelle has always, all of the videos and all of the teachings, empowering other people. And yes, I've been empowering other people my entire life, and in ways are very, very unexpected. And it's empowering the underdog, it, those who are less than, and it's or believe they are less than. And I've been there, we've all been there at some point in time that we feel that we're not worthy or anything else like that. Um, my life into empowerment started really being noticeable in late 80s when I had a travel company. And this travel company was called Maya Eco Tours. And I specialized in Mayan archaeology and spirituality, and natural history, and diving and fishing, and before ecotourism was a word. And I would design tours for people and groups down to different countries: Costa Rica, Honduras, Belize, Guatemala, and Mexico, and then later into Peru a bit. And there was one conference I went to, and I heard Jacques Cousteau, the son of Jacques Cousteau, incredible exploring individual on this planet. And he talked about the importance of corporate business people making profit off travel in all these different countries that we're building up into what this massive ecotourism world is now, that they have to support it and be responsible. And it was incredibly powerful. And I took that to heart. And I started taking a small percentage, up to 20% of the profit that I made from every client. And depending on where they went, whether it was Costa Rica, Honduras, or Belize, or wherever, and I picked NGOs, small organizations that were helping to sustain the way of life and environment. And I made donations in the name of my clients, like protecting the loggerhead turtles in Costa Rica on the Pacific coast. It was, instead of having the natives and the people kill the loggerhead turtles, they were being taught to save them and protect them and use them as education for people and as ways to create souvenirs and businesses that way. And I donated portions to that and to all sorts of different things. And I would take it down, the check down, and hand it to them, and that was what. And that went on for many, many years until the internet eventually changed the entire travel system, trial world. And in 1996, I closed it because it wasn't valid anymore. Later, I worked and this all has to do with digital growth community, with the blueprint that is in place, that is described about, number one, the 100% profit to the person who brings in the next person in the line of being empowered by the concept, by the blue by the blueprint. And I worked as a director of a foster grandparent program in rural mid-Missouri for 4 years. 100 seniors, 60 to 93, and low income. And they did this mentoring with at-risk children to supplement a very small stipend to supplement their income. Their body image, their image of themselves was disastrous when I took over. And I went, I am going to empower these people. They're good, good people. And so, amongst other things, I said, how about everybody donates once a month at the meeting, donates $1 and put in a pot, and then 4 people can have a choice of where they would like that money to go, to people in need or a community or a service, a church, and a charity. Didn't matter. I didn't care. I said, oh, we'll send you a check. Send them a check in your name. For 4 years we did that, and I watched these people grow. And their self-esteem was amazing. Now, out of those 100, I probably had a third of the 100 were African Americans, and maybe half of those were the children of slaves in rural mid-Missouri. And it was remarkable that in the beginning they were so against, you don't know anything. And in the end, it's like, we needed you. And being invited to their funerals and being the only white person in this mass of incredible spirits empowered me and gave me reason to keep going. This came back when first I got the video from who's now my sponsor, Kerry Lee in Australia. And I said, no, not for me. It's not, I wasn't there. I was mourning my son, and I hadn't got over that yet. It was 2 years Christmas Day. And 3 months later, I get the message from him. I mentioned that in one other video. Mom, you got to go and do it. People need you. And the push. So I listened to it, and sure enough, I changed within those frameworks. The bubble of awakening started opening. I heard Michelle's words. I saw what they were trying to do. I understood the premise of the blueprint. And more importantly, I felt the integrity, the honesty, and the desire to empower others that lay within the framework of the blueprint. And that was my aha moment to go, pay attention. I didn't know at that point the direction. And I signed up on the 29th of September, the day after my son's birthday. He would have been 43. And synchronicity always plays out. Watch synchronicity in your life. Watch the clues. With everything, they are so important. His birthday, and it's kin 83, Mayan calendar, it's something else. The next day was kin 84, which happened to be my birth seal, but I'm born in March. This is September. Why is it coming up in then? And that was the day I was shown to start this brand new venture of stepping into a new life path. It is the beginning. Matthew's birthday was the end of a 52-year cycle. The next day was the initiation of a 52-year cycle. Now, will I make it to another 52 years? I certainly doubt it. However, that's not the point. The point is the journey. I'm walking on the journey, so I'm taking these paths. I set up the blueprint myself, step by step. I watched every video. I muddled through many of them. I asked for help, all of the rest of it, and finally it got there. I've had all sorts of issues. However, I keep going because there's this push of reason. And then we have the hurricane and the storms and insanity going on in Florida, Georgia, Tennessee, South Carolina, North Carolina. And I connect with a friend who I hadn't spoken to in a lot of years. And she lost basically her life and with her family. And I spoke to her and it's like, oh my God, I'm so sorry. And that was part of another inspiration. And I get this little voice going, keep listening, keep listening. And my stepdaughter went through the same thing. And then so many millions of others tragically had their lives changed. And then you look at the news and the wars and the disasters, and it's like insanity. And then I'm taken back into another view of perspectives. And the four perspectives that everything falls into are the major topics on the planet. In everyday life, doesn't matter what language you're in, they're the essence of them: money, power, sex, death. And money, we either have it or we don't. Or we never have enough. We don't think we have enough. We get too much and we lose ourselves. And so I was shown to create, I won't go into it, but a theater production on money, power, sex, and death, would you believe? But from a twist. And these have served me so well. And I think they are very, very important in the community we are in now. To not lose focus, to not lose ourselves with incredible success. I haven't had any success. This is my success. But monetary success changes people. So money, if we look at it as an anagram, material obligations or obsession neutralize evolving yourself. And what happens is we get lost in the power, the perceived power and gratification of that. All the bigwigs, all the politicians, all the billionaires, they have lost their wholeness and their attachment to their deep self, in my opinion. This is what drives them, controls them. So it's always take a breath, sit back, and observe and be wise. Power. I see this when I read the links in the community. First win, first customer. I've made this much. I've arrived at this goal, blah, 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 and they go on and on and on. And this is where I see power. The potential of wonder engaging the regalness. The majesty that comes out from a person when they step into their power and go, oh, I did it. God, you can't beat that. That's not power standing on a podium touting some brilliance or buying their way through this or destroying other people with war and whatever because they can. That's not power. This is where power comes from. It's the potential of the wonder that is emanating right outside of you to engage the majesty, the regalness within you out to the world. So I see that. Then we get to sex. You. But what sex is not, it really is. And sex is about the senses engaging ecstasy. And the same thing with power. It is the senses that come alive that we see and do and be somebody we didn't know we were, because our senses are holding something very differently when we empower ourselves, but more importantly, when we facilitate the empowerment of somebody else. And that is what I see with Michelle through opening and all of the tech, all of the community. I see that emanating more obviously, that the senses that have not been awakened in other ways are now being awakened, and they are igniting an ecstasy, a joy, something that you've never experienced before. And that is empowerment. And that becomes contagious. And so then when you share that with somebody else in the beginning, yeah, I don't know yet. But at some point, whoa, I feel empowered to empower someone else. It's contagious. And then we get to death. And that's the word, the place that no one wants to go. Yet, we all end up going there. However, the word really, when you look at it, dramatic events activate the heart. And when that happens, there's a whole new life. It's a spiritual awakening from deep within that contains every emotion, every experience, every feeling, every fear, doubt, and everything that's gone on through your entire life. And that dramatic event is the opening for where you're going to go. What choice are you going to make? For some people, a dramatic event like that, either death by violence or war or what, brings up anger, resentment, hatred, and revenge. Or it can bring up the opposite. And who knows? We have choices to make. And that empowers people when you look at it differently. I work with spirit world, and over and over and over again for years and years, it has been shown so very clearly. The world up here is bringing the messages down and saying, each one, you empower yourselves, get better, make the world better. So up here can also go through and heal what they took with them and still resonates through the threads. Because there is a saying that was given to me when I was painting, a painting I did called Love Ignites Unity. And the caption at the top of it is, we are only separated by the length of the threads that connect us. And that is physically in this lifetime, and it is with all the lineage that we hold through our soul and energy fields back in time. So thank you to the community for giving me the reason to empower again, because when I am gifted with a client, with a customer, I have none yet. When I'm gifted with a customer, no matter what the level is, it's going to be my choice, my desire to take a percentage of that and use it to either help someone down the road with a gift that they need, or bring other people in, however I'm shown to use that. So if it's $100, it'll be, like $20. And if it's 900, it will be a percentage of that, maybe $100. I don't know. That we put in to give back. Because it's only when I give back do I find that I am empowered even more. And to me, that is really, really important. So I won't rattle on any longer. But thank you, Michelle. Thank you, Carrie Lee, Tim, Victoria. I've listened to some of yours. But most of all, to everybody else who, for whatever personal reason they have jumped in everywhere in the world. I have been blessed to travel the world greatly in my life, starting at 9 years old. And at 9 years old, I witnessed in Berlin and in France, in Dusseldorf, Dresden, most specifically in Germany, England. 12 years after World War II, I witnessed the destruction and people still picking bricks up and still rebuilding, and it's always been there to make me more humble. So, and hopefully I stay that way. I'm not perfect, believe me. Far from it. So thank you. Thank you. How do I stop this? End stream.